Well, none of them can hide from the truth, yeah. Children have to go back to the roots, yeah. None of them can hide from the truth, yeah. Children have to go back to the roots. I'm telling you now, the truth, telling you, yeah, the truth, You have to go back to the roots, go to the roots. Yeah, man, this is Benjamin out of the Smiling Coast, West Africa, Gambia, representing for the one and only Abu, the big man you don't know, the Soninke warrior, the man that brings the truth, Soninke warrior, the sign of enlightenment, the Soninke warrior, the righteous and the true African. Abu, reveal the truth to them, no matter how them try to run from it, because none of them can hide from the truth, yeah. Yes, we have to dig back the roots, yeah. Fire!
Subscribe now.
I remember the days, all those years ago that never fade away. And I remember your face when you hit the ground. I can recall the time and place on a midnight walk through the old streets, trying to turn back the clock to the days of old, back to the days when all the things we knew were made of gold. As the world moves on, time sings a song. In the old neighborhood, as the clock strikes one, the memory lives just as it stood, like a quiet dream. The shadows of that time are cast beneath the streetlight beam. As the world moves on, time sings a song. Don't cry, don't cry, as the days move along. You can remember their song.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Afridamus Report. I'm your host, Afridamus. Guys, sorry, I've been super busy, but in a good way, you see. Because, look, I've been keeping up with everything that's been going on. I'm like, man, I need to come and report on this and break it down to the people. Because you see, everything I've been saying about this foundational Beggars Association that the blacks have come up with, right? Because as you guys know, truly they like to say it's about lineage. But now we are all seeing what the exact truth is. People were saying, oh, Afridamus, you're here to divide. But before I even enter into all that, please make sure you like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. So, ladies and gentlemen, just as you can see, it is reparation news. All that shenanigans. Oh, it is even they named us the terrorists, right? Every black immigrant group in America became the enemy. How did they become the enemy of the blacks? Because the blacks had to fabricate and create like a scenario to make it seem like, okay, they are this underclass who have no privilege whatsoever. So now even the Africans and the Caribbeans are against them. The people were confused. We were like, man, wait a minute. The blacks, we were with you. What are you talking about? We are your people despite your hate. Many of you did not realize that. In fact, the blacks worship money. They do. They worship money. What wouldn't they do for money? They have sold everybody and their mama just for the prospect of saying it is reparation. And they talk about community, community. Which community? Where is the community? No one is asking this question. But I have been telling you guys, I said, look, all this dilly-dallying they are doing, talking about, oh, it is the immigrants. I said, look, that's all deflection. It is all deflection. Because you see, I know who gets to decide this, which is the white man. And they pretend they're like, oh man, he's kissing the white man's ass. Look, governor, no, look, I made a mistake. Governor to you and I and the whites, but to the FBAs, Foundational Beggars Association, and the blacks, he is Massa Knewsomething. You see, I have been reading stuff. These people, they follow YouTubians, as Dr. Umar would say. People like Dr. Tariq Nasheed, he would come on YouTube and capitalize to make money off of these frivolous things. Understanding that many of the blacks who are into this stuff do not read. They are immune to reading. They are all in their feelings. They like to claim we built America. Look, here's the thing. I am a common sense guy. I don't go by feelings. I mean, at some point, it's like we can kind of go along with little things. Look, but now when you start talking about, your population is only 13%, but you built this nation and all that crap, that's where I draw the line. If you say you participated, sure. But now when you start talking all this nonsense 1 week, like a minute, you guys were not from Africa. Another minute, you guys are Seminoles. Next minute, you guys even deny slavery itself ever happened. So at this point, we are all listening. We're like, all right, what is going on here? The blacks want reparation for slavery, but they deny ever being slaves. In fact, they said they're from this land. Isn't that what they preach sometimes? But you see, instead of focusing on the reparation, what did they do? They turned it around. They started coming on the internet to express their hate. Guess for who? You guessed it right. Us, the Africans, the Caribbeans. Isn't because you guys thought, oh yeah, you justified them when they hated the white people. Despite you knowing this have absolutely nothing to do with race, right? At this point in time, I understand. I get the history. But we no longer live in the past. You see? We no longer live in the past. If you want to live in the past, hey, that's your prerogative. But what you're not going to do is to try to pull me into that foolery. And that's what we've been encountering. When the reparation, quote unquote, talks came, in fact, myself here, Afridama, sitting right in front of you, many of these blacks know nothing about reparation. They know nothing about it. I told you guys how I took African American studies. That's right. I have taken African American studies. And not only that, in my one of my communication classes when I was in the 13th grade, in fact, I wrote an entire paper where I had to do research and do presentation. Guess what? On reparation. So I had to go out of my way to study this. In fact, I understood, like, sure, I came from Africa, and the manuscripts, the books and stuff that I was reading and understanding, it was common sense. I'm like, yeah, this makes sense. None of this mumbo jumbo, this Pookie, Ray, Tyrone type of stuff. No, that's not what I saw in those books. The people that are putting this together, these are smart people. In fact, there was a man named, he was a House of Representative from Michigan named Conyas, who have always been pushing for these reparation studies, and so they can come to some sort of agreement. Because I'll tell you, this reparation talk, this is nothing new. This has been ongoing ever since slavery was abolished. In fact, I have a short documentary which I'm going to share with you folks here, and some of you would be very familiar with it, which gives you, makes you feel like you are sympathetic to the blacks. But over time, many of you became confused because the blacks are denying that they were in fact from Africa. Isn't that the reason why Dr. Umar, I have a video here. Let me remind you guys what even led up to this type of videos.
Let's
Check
talk
this.
about
doing
this.
your DNA testing, right?
Pretendians.
And I'm still waiting for the pretendians to get their DNA. All my I ain't from Africa people, you have not taken the DNA test. I want to know why. All you pretendians.
Right. You guys get that. You get the point. You get the point. Guys, please make sure if you haven't already hit the like. So you see the point I'm making here? Many of you became confused because you were like, wait a minute. The history we know, these people are from Africa, West and Central Africa. They said, no, we are not from there. So with the prospect of them thinking they're going to get reparation, what is their main fight? They want to fight other black immigrants. That's who they want to fight. Because they are like, oh man, for some reason, somewhere, they made it up in their mind that just simply because you're black, you can just go claim reparation. That's what they, so it's not even, it doesn't even make sense. And they know it. But just because these people are such xenophobes, they hate Africans. They love being anything but African. I've been telling you guys, back in the early 2000s, back then they used to claim being mixed with European. You see now, all of a sudden, being mixed with European is out of style. Many stuck to the Indian thing, but you notice. So to get reparation, you have to agree that your ancestors came from Africa. But still, these people will deny. They will deny being African. So they came up with AADOS, led by a lesbian and a mush-mouthed, quote-unquote, lawyer. People. They came on the internet. In fact, we supported them on their reparation. But you see, many of you, I have studied it. I studied this reparation thing, not in one of these pseudo-black colleges. I went to the white people's schools. If you want to know the truth, go to the white people's schools. Because these black writers, they like to make up stuff. So you have to double check on them. Make sure you go compared to the white people's stuff. Because they are telling you about white people's stuff. Because where else are they getting this information from? We cannot trust a group of people that are telling us 1 minute they are Indian, another minute they are like, they are from space. So you have to double check everything they are telling you. You see? So since I said, wait, they don't allow the white man to openly speak about this. And sometimes they are Israelis, just like you said. Yeah. Sometimes they are from Israel. 86 Lions say Afridamus got a PhD in Black American Studies. That's right. As you can tell, I've got a PhD in this, in Black history. You see? So what did they do? They form their organization. They call it AADOS. Now, all of a sudden, they are proud of being slaves. But before, when you say, oh, what is the excuse they make? Oh, you Africans think you better. They say some Africans have called them slave baby. So that was derogatory. But now, all of a sudden, they are embracing this slave talk because they think it's about checks. So they started, spewing their hate towards Africans and Caribbeans. I was confused. I was like, wait a minute, what's going on? What did we do to you? Oh, y'all Africans are trying to finesse us. Whatever the hell that means. How the hell can we finesse you? See, I have common sense. I know that you are just begging. Beggars have no choice. You cannot dictate to the white man what they can or cannot give you. Reparation, you have to have a nation that backs you up for you to get reparation. The Japanese that you cite, they have a country. But you guys, in the civil rights, remember, you guys fought to join the white people, to move into the white neighborhood. You wanted to eat at the white restaurant. Remember? So now you became white. So you are American. You have no claim to the reparation. You've in fact been paid your reparation. Your reparation is you get to live in white country. You get to shop at Walmart. You can go to Popeye Chickens, Kentucky Fried Chicken. Okay? You can go to the white people's mall. You can go to Target. Guys, you get the point. You get the point. Isn't this amenities that makes the blacks tell us Africans that we are dusty because we don't have the Walmarts, the white man's Walmart and stuff? You see, when we want Walmart, we got to travel thousands of miles away to shop at Walmart. So, we earn it. You see, we earn it. So, but if you don't have, so they are like, all right, we have to deny being African. But now that makes your case complicated. Because for you, this reparation you're seeking, you cannot receive this if you don't accept being African. So I don't know what they are suspicious of. So they are like, we got to distance ourselves from Africans. They started calling us all kinds of names. They became the KKK. They became the KKK. They were calling us all kinds of names. Literally, their leader, Tariq Nasheed, was telling some Africans that they smell like cheetah pea. How do you know how someone smells like cheetah pea through the internet? Well, these are the type of stuff their ideas about Africans, and they find it entertaining. And I've been telling people, I said, they are not getting this reparation. They know it themselves. Because I was confused about if you want reparation, they know damn well no African can stop them. They know this. And why would we even care to stop them? That is my question. But now, Governor Knewsomething have spoken. We haven't heard anything yet. In fact, let me play a little something here, a short little clip. It's like a short little documentary to give you an overview about reparation and all the people that have received it. Even the Indians, natives, they are claiming to be have received it. But hey, let the blacks say it. They will still claim they are Indians. Because if they are Indians, they should be in reservations, not coming here, especially in our African spaces, arguing with us. What are Indians even doing arguing with Africans? We over here, we are not hiding it. We are Africans. If you come back tomorrow again, we will still be Africans. 1,000 years from now, we would still be claiming it. So, you know, it's not one of those things, you know. I mean, yes, sometimes I claim my Blackfoot, you know, DNA, but I have to. But when you come, the African always have to be at the top. So we are not confused. We accepted it. The people in Haiti have accepted being African, the Caribbeans. So these people have turned against all the blacks in the world from the black factory. They say they are not from the black factory, but the benefits that they want, the story is tied to the black factory. So if they themselves deny the story, I find it confusing. But here we go. All right. This is all right. So this little documentary is for edutainment purposes. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm about to show you a brief history about this reparation talk. See, this foundation of beggars, I would tell you, the research that I have done and even help make their case for them, they themselves haven't even done that. But they just want to hate on us Africans. Here we go. Let me play this, so you see how long this has been going on.
Slave known as Whipped Peter, taken in 1863, is one of the most iconic images depicting the brutality of slavery in the US. Although slavery ended in 1865 with the signing of the 13th Amendment, the fight for justice and equality for African Americans persisted and continues today. Centuries of slavery and its aftermath of anti-black laws and segregation caused a tremendous wealth gap with disparities in housing, education, health, and even policing. African Americans today own less than 3% of the country's wealth, even though they make up 13% of its population. And beyond economic disparities, fatal police shootings of young African Americans have...
So you see, they are telling you now Black Lives Matter, this is the new movement for the blacks. You know, so they mix in long time history and new history that they want. They want to promote George Floyd. So these are the images. But we would go along with it, okay?
has led to the rise of the Black Lives Matter movement and growing awareness about racism and its overarching impacts. Today, many argue that reparations for African Americans is the solution to settle the financial debt of centuries of past injustices and a remedy to America's racial wealth gap.
I fixed the cotton and I built the railroad under someone else's whip for nothing. For nothing.
Reparation is a system of redress for historic injustices, and many Americans have received different forms of reparations in the past. Native Americans received land and some compensation for being forcibly exiled from their...
Did you guys hear this? They said the Native Americans have received reparation. So why are we even talking to people who are coming here claiming to be Native Americans, and still we even entertain them telling us about reparation? Now you guys understand why I don't entertain them. But here we go.
Native lands. Japanese Americans who were held captive in internment camps during World War II received reparations and a presidential apology. And even at a local level, states like North Carolina have compensated victims for its forced sterilization programs that ended in the mid-1970s. But Black Americans have not received reparations for slavery or for the impacts of the racial discrimination that followed. Supporters of reparations argue that financial compensation for descendants of slaves is key to addressing the stark inequality between Black and white households.
I feel a sense of anger.
So if you look at it, you know, these people, the people that are even willing to fight and address this, They call those people the coons and coonettes. You see? So the case I'm presenting for them, even they themselves cannot present this for themselves. There's something about them that they just want to hate, not only on the white man, but on everybody. So I think it's called self-hate. They can't help it. But here we go.
Anger where we are in the United States of America, where we have not had direct conversations about a lot of the root causes of the inequities and the pain and the hurt manifested in economic disparities, manifested in health disparities, manifested in a criminal justice system that is indeed a form of new Jim Crow.
In 2018, nearly 1 in 3 black children lived in poverty, compared to 1 in 11 white children in the US. And in 2019, the median wealth for a white family was nearly 8 times greater.
You guys remember, I always tell you, so the blacks always compare themselves to the whites. So, so technically, it makes sense for them to hate Africans. You see how much black family makes compared to white family. So why are these people even posting this? That is my question. When they say black family, how are these people making only 24,000? You see, this is what they are not addressing.
Than the average black family. Some proposals of reparations are calling for direct restitutions, while others are arguing in favor of tax cuts, and some say compensation should come in the form of investments in black communities like scholarship funds. William A. Darity, an economist at Duke University and a leading scholar on reparations, established 2 qualifying conditions for people who could receive reparations. First, having at least one ancestor who was enslaved in the United States, and second, having identified oneself as black or African American on a legal document for at least 12 years before.
Oh, did you see that? So if you identify as black for 12 years, so I have identified as black for, guess what, guys? At least for 19 years, I have identified as black. You don't believe me? You guys don't believe me? Here we go. So you see, this is from the blacks, their own scholar. Their own scholar. So the criteria is 12 years. So I have been identifying as black for, guess what? I mean, as far as I can think, 19 years at least. About 19 years. So you see why these people now is making sense, why they've been fighting us. Rachel Dolezal have been identifying as black for, guess what? Since she was in high school, at least over 12 years. If you're a half-breed, if you're mixed, can't we question that? You should get half reparation. You see, now I understand why, that Yvette lady was pissed off. Because at some point, if they bring in people like myself and they start questioning us, we might bring the half reparation rule. Like the, 1-drop rule, we call it the half reparation rule, because you are mixed with the oppressor. We would do the DNA test and look at how much percentage black you have. Okay. And then some white people might even qualify because they might have black in them. So now everything is beginning to make sense. This is from their own professor. So they're like, oh, you Africans can speak about it. I was like, now, I read the document. You guys have no idea. I was quiet because what I know is they said 12 years. The document said 12 years. So I'm qualified. Why would I fight against something that I'm qualified for? I was just waiting. That's right. Look, I did not make the rules. I'm not the one that went up there and say, make it 12 years. No, this is from your own professor. So when some of the blacks realize it, they're like, oh, we got to fight against these people and call them feathers. Oh, yeah. We have a stake in this, just so you know. But here we go.
For the approval of any reparations. According to these criteria, former President Barack Obama, the son of a white American mother and a Kenyan father, would not receive reparations, while former First Lady Michelle Obama, whose ancestors were enslaved, would. According to different studies and estimates, the reparation costs may amount to somewhere between 10 and 18 trillion US dollars. The momentum gained by the Black Lives Matter movement has pushed conversations about reparations to the forefront, despite being regarded as too radical in the past. During the 2020 presidential campaign, most Democratic candidates said they were in favor of setting up a committee to look into reparations, including...
Have you noticed, guys? They only always say they're going to set up a committee. And even the blacks, the way they are fighting a losing battle. Because if you want reparation, you should not take sides. You know, like they only go with the Democrats. Like, do they even want reparation, or they just want a pat from the white people? Which one is it? Because if you truly want reparation, like, I mean, just like the Republicans, they've won. You would think you would play it smart and safe. You should not be too attached to any one group. You fight your interests. But you notice how, you know, they would tell you, oh man, if you don't support Joe Biden, you ain't black and you racist. But he's got some checkered past that the blacks themselves know. Okay? So, and I have seen a leaked video where Master Biden over here, Master Biden was giving some plantation talk to some of the Negroes. This is when I was like, who you fooling? You can't fool me. You know, no wonder you want to come over here and start backing up against us Africans. We didn't do anything to you. Oh, hell no. We did not do anything to you. In fact, we support the reparation. You see? Because if you're black and you've lived here 12 years, which makes sense, because if there's any type of oppression, guys, you think these people are more oppressed than me? Wait till they pass this reparation and they ask me, Afridamus, name your oppression. That's the day you would know how much oppression I have suffered in the land of the white man. But why would I tell this story if I'm not getting any reparation? Why? So the blacks, they wasted their weapon here. Here we go.
President Joe Biden. And in 2021, a legislation focusing on how the US can apologize for slavery and make reparations is getting renewed attention in Congress. Some lawmakers have been trying to advocate for a federal effort to study slavery reparation for decades with no success. But the killing of George Floyd and the unrest that followed have put more pressure on officials to act and consider reparations. So let's try to unpack how past injustices created the problems African Americans face today. By the 19th century, slavery had become America's largest financial asset. The value of enslaved people in 1860 was worth more than all the capital invested in railroads and factories combined at the time. Slaveholders had unjustly benefited from centuries of...
Guys, truly, do you guys believe that? I mean, anyways, we'll continue.
Unpaid labor, all on the backs of millions of slaves. The first major opportunity that the United States had to atone for slavery was right after the Civil War, when 20 black community leaders in Savannah met Union leaders, including General William Sherman, and agreed that each black family should receive 40 acres of land and an additional mule as an act of reparation. Sherman signed Field Order 15 and allocated 400,000 acres of confiscated Confederate land to black families. But this moment was short-lived. Less than 3 months after Sherman's order, President Lincoln was assassinated, and
this is the 40 acres and a mule. So here we go.
Andrew Johnson, who was a former slaveholder himself, was elected as president. Johnson rescinded the order, and tens of thousands of freedmen were forcibly evicted and the land redistributed among southern plantation owners. The reversal left many newly freed slaves with few options but to become sharecroppers, often working for former slaveholders. In fact, many newly freed slaves ended up working on plantations in return for food and shelter. The former Confederates returned to power and found new ways to circumvent the federal laws and find loopholes from which they could benefit. A collection of laws were enacted from the end of the Civil War.
So you see how this right here, this proves that the blacks are from Africa. They were slaves and underclass. But now, so this is the case for, reparation. This is the story that you, the African that is watching me, that's what you knew. And you felt connected with the blacks and you felt like injustice have been done until you met the foundational Beggar Association.
Till 1968, that targeted black people, black codes, Jim Crow laws, and other statutes rescinded African-American voting rights, restricted labor opportunities, and legalized segregation. White supremacist groups like the Ku Klux Klan rose to prominence during this era. The group served as a private club for Confederate veterans, and they terrorized African-Americans, torturing and killing many. The 13th Amendment abolished slavery, but it permitted involuntary servitude as punishment for crimes. Black men were imprisoned for a range of made-up offenses, and as prisoners, they were leased to businesses and farms to work for free under brutal conditions. Frustrated with the hostile environment of the South, African Americans began to mass migrate towards the north and west of the country. But even decades after emancipation, the presumption of danger and criminality...
So, did you guys hear the migration? They moved north and Midwest and to the west. Slavery was already done. So this is the fool's errand that they've been running. You're going to ask for reparation in California. You were not enslaved in California. There was no slavery there. That's how you should have known. You are being bamboozled. But here we go.
Still followed black people everywhere they went. By the 1930s, in the wake of the Great Depression, President Franklin D. Roosevelt wanted to bring economic relief to millions of Americans through a collection of federal programs and projects called the New Deal. One part of this New Deal was the National Housing Act of 1934, which introduced ideas like the 30-year mortgage and low fixed interest rates. As part of the National Housing Act, the Homeowners Loan Corporation created maps of over 200 U.S.
So guys, this is American history, real American history. So all those people there like, oh man, we fought to bring you blacks over here, you tethers over here. Guys, you are seeing over here, right? The blacks were refugees during this era. So they have, why would refugees be fighting for new people to come? Okay, so I bring real history, even though they mix it up with some propaganda, but I'll be able to, separate the wheat from the chaff. There's a lot of good information in it, don't get me wrong, but they do have some propaganda mixed up in this documentary as well.
Cities to grade neighborhoods on their credit worthiness. Black and immigrant areas received a worse grade and were shaded red, a policy now known as redlining. Neighborhoods were color-coded. Green...
Guys, did you guys hear that? So the redlining that the blacks talk about always, guess who also suffered? Immigrants. Did I tell you guys here that America was also, the immigrants built America? So redlining, it wasn't only the blacks that suffered, it was immigrants too. But they like to say, oh, we brought the immigrants here. No. Immigrants have been coming here since the early 1900s or before that. You see? But here we go.
And best, a neighborhood worthy of credit. Blue meant still desirable. Yellow meant that a neighborhood was in decline, while neighborhoods coded in red, where most African Americans lived, were considered hazardous and posed a great risk for mortgages. These maps were used for decades by many American banks to determine who they would grant loans to. This housing discrimination effectively blocked black families from owning homes and acquiring wealth that could be passed down to future generations.
Did you see this? So the blacks lives amongst each other, right? So technically, they've accepted that, okay, blacks by themselves cannot make it. They have to be allowed to come into white areas. Because this redlining doesn't make sense. They're saying, hey, you people should live with each other. So if these people are trying to devalue the property, don't you think they should give it the value and make it unhazardous? But there's a reason why, when blacks make it to white neighborhoods, it's a come up. You see, it's a come up. This is what they are not telling you. So let's continue.
Today, 2/3 of America's middle-class wealth is in the form of home ownership. Denying African Americans the opportunity to own houses meant denying them opportunities to climb the social ladder. And even though redlining was banned with the Fair Housing Act of 1968, its lingering effects still continue to this day. 60% of communities living in areas classified as hazardous in the 1930s remain.
So I just want you guys to take note. When you come up to us Africans, despite in your head, you believe that, oh, these people are from the place is poor, whatever. But you got to realize we own the place. This having been, I mean, me suddenly having been my experience. I grew up living in large compound. My grandfather owned orchards. My relatives own land, plenty. So to go fight and beg somebody to, put you in a desirable home have never been my history or anyone I know. So when you come and try to make that of importance to people who have never experienced that, don't get upset. Just explain it. But the person will never feel like you do, because it doesn't ring a bell. The person cannot relate. You see? The person cannot relate. And that's totally okay. Just like if I live in a little hut, a dusty hut, I don't know what your idea is of that. Maybe I'm happy in that hut. At least it's my own hut. Nobody have to tell me is red line, blue line. We don't care about that. We just own the place. We own it. That's all we care about, right? So a lot of these people you've seen coming when you hear this redlining, they themselves don't even know what it means, because they heard someone say it and they come and repeat it. So this is why I'm giving you a video that is defining it exactly, defining everything for you, because a lot of them don't even know what they are talking about.
Low-income communities today, inhabited by minority residents, mostly Black and Latino. Homes in these areas are, on average, valued 25% less than homes in white neighborhoods. On the other side of the equation, 91% of areas classified as best in the 1930s now belong primarily to people with middle to upper incomes, of which 85% of them are white. Redlining policies didn't only impact housing and wealth, but also policing and education. Public school funding comes from local property taxes, and the higher the property values, the higher the taxes. This means Black neighborhoods tend to have poorer schools. And when it comes to policing, data of arrests in Black neighborhoods reveals that if you live in redlined areas, you are 3 times more likely to be arrested. And even when it comes to bail, people who live in Black neighborhoods in redlined areas are targeted with higher bail amounts. In Maryland, 13 out of its 15 zip codes with the highest bail costs are in redlined areas. Inside courtrooms, the problem gets worse. 67% of the US prison population are people of color. Although Black people make up only 13% of the US population, African American adults are 5.9 times more likely to be incarcerated than whites. As of 2001, 1 in every 3 Black boys born in that year are expected to go to prison in their lifetime, as compared to 1 in every 17 white boys. While fatal police encounters have ignited the Black Lives Matter movement and drawn attention to the institutional violence African Americans face, the fight for racial justice is mainly about equality in opportunities and access to wealth, which cannot be attained without structural change. The pandemic has revealed how these inequalities translate to healthcare.
So you notice everything bad have to be associated to Blacks, and they accept it. But here we go.
As well. According to research from the Harvard Medical School and the Lancet Commission on Reparations and Redistributive Justice, COVID-19 is disproportionately infecting and killing Black Americans as a result of centuries of structural racism. The group
Okay, guys, did you see the flag? Pay attention to the flag here. Okay? Pay attention to the flag.
Of researchers modeled how reparations could have affected Black communities if they'd been introduced well before the pandemic and subsequently reduced the
You see the flags there?
Equity gap between Blacks and whites. They found that coronavirus transmission in Louisiana alone could have been reduced by 31 to 68% for all races. The pandemic has killed 1 in 1,000 Black Americans, twice the rate of white Americans. Many argue that this
All right. So you guys get the point. You guys get the point. You're seeing it exactly, right? So now we come to Tariq Nasheed, the leader of the foundational, Beggars Association. He himself, he hailed from, so what he did was they had AADOS. So he went up to them and pretended like he is part of them, right? Then he hijacked part of it. Imagine this. It is grown Negroes and Negresses, coons and coonettes that follow Tariq. So you mean to tell me you have identity crisis? You did not know who you are. Some guy came up with some acronyms, abbreviations on the internet. Now all of a sudden that's who you are. But both groups, their foundation, we can say was based in, they are xenophobes. You see? Because clearly it's not about the reparation. They showed, like they created much division between themselves and other black groups. See, they started telling us what's on their mind. It's called projection. I know many of you, Caribbeans, Africans, you were hurt. You were hurt to see and hear their behavior. You guys, I mean, I know it. Even myself, some of the stuff I heard them say, but it didn't shock me. I told you guys, I have worked in the prison system for over 8 years in the past. And I have taken the time to study this. And all this crime stuff they're talking about, the innocent blacks. Look, I'm not saying it doesn't exist, okay? But I have worked in a prison. I have had access to the files. I have talked to people. I have seen behaviors. So, if the people that you saying are innocent, they're telling you they are not innocent, that's kind of weird. People get to put spins on it, but that's not for me to say. All I know is when I worked there, I did not put you there. You had to go through so many doors before you got to me. The judge sentenced you. My job is not to punish you. You being behind bars, that's your punishment and your time. And all I'm there to do is to correct your behavior. So I know some, they're like, oh, Afridamus, you are such a sellout. You keeping the black man down. Nah, you have to remember, this man had to go to jail before coming to prison. They had to convict him. I'm the last stop at the time. Look, Negro, when you get to me and you see me in that badge and I say welcome to you, that means it's over. It's over. They've hit the gavel on you. Because if they didn't hit the gavel on you, you and I wouldn't see each other at that time. So once you see me, it's game over for you. Your fate have been sealed. Now just follow the rules. We would bring out the little booklet and read the orientation to you and tell you what will get you shot and what won't get you shot. If there's commotion, if you're not part of it, hit the ground. If you don't hit the ground, then we will assume you're part of the problem. Do not climb the fence. If you breach one section of the fence, if you are walking towards the next one, we would give you a warning. And if you ignore the warning, there is protocols on what else to follow. So these are rules. It's not like it was hidden. The people that are locked up, that's the thing about America. They tell you what will happen. Now it's up to you on, how you want this done. And yes, they got people like me. They've trained and we know how to implement the laws. So, but now let me get back to the topic. So Tariq Nasheed, there's a video. In fact, they had a talk about reparation. So he went out there in public to go speak. Let's hear what Tariq, instead of focusing on reparation, let's see, what he was more concerned with at the hearing in California. So, like I told you guys, they thought they had it in the bag. Here's Tariq at the reparation. This is fair use, fair use. Here we go.
Sir?
Much respect to all the brothers and sisters here in the Bay Area. First of all, I want to make 3 quick points about reparations and then let our other brothers and sisters speak. First thing, we have to understand we have to focus and keep the emphasis on it being lineage based. The problem is we see a lot of trick bag language being mixed into it where it opens the floor for other groups to come in and undermine us. Reparations in the form of lineage based.
So you hear this? So for him, right? Okay, these people are saying, for instance, they want reparation. But they're telling you as an African, oh, you got to support us. But you didn't even get your reparation. Africans or Caribbeans, we know we're not claiming this, but it's in the rules. Like I said, 12 years, if you've been claiming that you were black for past 12 years, I have proof of, being black for over 12 years. I have told you guys how long. Okay. So I even have the black card to prove it. So there's no confusion here. But how is this man going to come here? All he's focused on is fighting other black people. So I knew when they put the 12 years there, that's how you should have known they're not giving you no reparation. They're not about to give you no reparation. But when I said it, I was such a hater. But here we go. Let's hear what Tariq says. In fact, Tariq was booed at this rally, but I'm not going to show that one.
Compensation is not a compensation for racism. Let's be very clear. If we open the door to racism, Hispanics can come in, Asians can come in, Middle Eastern people can come in. It will become affirmative action again, where we are left holding the crumbs and everybody else is holding the cake.
So he's fighting again. Oh, here we go. The Kio said, working as a prison guard is nothing to write about low-level work. That's what you think, but you see the Kio. I can guarantee you, whatever job you think is high level, bring it to me. If I'm interested in it, I'll do it. But you see, you put your value on the type of work you do. You've never done the work that I have done, and you don't know my reason. So you can think it's low level, high level, whatsoever, but I can assure you it did pay really well. Probably paid more than your job that you have. I can assure you that.
So we have to focus on the lineage-based reparations, especially the agreement that our Foundation of Black American Lineage approved out here in California. In California, this was a state that allowed slavery. People say that this wasn't a slave state. There was informal slavery.
So did you guys see what Tariq did there? So now he wants to turn California into a slave state. And you expect white people to take these people serious. This is at the reparations, quote unquote, hearing. So California, we all know, not a slave state. But now he's going to turn it into a slave state. Here we go.
Here, the only reason they made it a technicality to make slavery illegal in California, they didn't want the white wealthy slave owners back east coming here getting all the prime real estate. They had slavery out here. Our Foundation of Black American brothers and sisters and our ancestors were out here working enslaved. San Bernardino, California was a slave colony. There were slave colonies here around the Bay Area. We couldn't get out of slavery.
When blacks started coming to California, slavery was abolished. So these people really, truly believe they can just make up history and people would go along. I told you the white men have the record. You can say all you want. You think you can lie your way past the white man? They got the record. So just because you said it, it's not going to mean they're going to all of a sudden be like, oh yeah, you know what? You're telling the truth. No, they don't care.
Because they made it illegal for black people to testify against white people. That's how they trick-bagged us up into slavery here. We have to be compensated for that. The second thing is we can't include all of these other groups with our reparations package. We hear a lot of black and Native
they fed us. They can. So he's going to pretend. So black and Native, when they were claiming to be natives, but here we go.
American, we hear a lot of black and brown. That won't work either. All of these other groups, they've been compensated. Every single group besides foundational Black Americans has been compensated. White slave owners were compensated. White immigrants in the 1800s were compensated with the Homestead Act.
Okay. Thank you so much for your
Thank
comments
you so
this
much,
morning.
Emily.
And
So that's the leader of, the blacks, right? So let's hear, short clip with, a week before he was quote unquote debating a white man on, who built America and about fried chicken. You do realize fried chicken is white food, Scottish, Irish, those, island, white people country. You see? So let's see. I'll show you a little bit of clip and we will get to Governor Newsom, aka Governor Knewsomething. Here we go. Let me give you a brief, because they like to claim everything. That
you keep talking about reparations, but don't you realize you already got reparations?
Where, Jeff? Where's the reparations we get, Jeff?
Your reparations is getting to live in a country white people developed and built.
Oh,
That's
really?
your reparations.
so the white man is correct. Did I say this? See, the white people, and you guys, I'm bringing you the white perspective because all you hear is that Negro babble. So this is why they try to tell you, oh man, we can believe these Africans let the white man talk. The white is the white man's internet. I want to hear what the white man got to say. All this stuff has been said about the white man. I want to hear what they got to say in their own defense. But here we go.
Yes.
So if you developed and built it, why did you white supremacists fail when you tried to do it on your own without the help of Black people?
What does FBA stand for? Failed Black American?
Why did you suspected white supremacists fail when you tried to build this country on your own?
We didn't. You failed.
No, you failed, sir. Y'all didn't
Look
get
up what happened when
Why
they freed the slaves.
Why didn't you get it built on your own?
So here's a guy begging for reparation, but the people he's begging it from, he's claiming, you guys failed in building a nation. Then what nation are you asking reparation from them? Because if those people failed, then why are you asking them for anything? Because they failed.
Keep deflecting from that.
We did. Most white people didn't own slaves. There was more white workers.
What year did y'all build a successful country without Black people?
1600 to 1800. Most white people didn't own slaves, and there were freed blacks that owned slaves. So that means
you're throwing numbers out, Jeff. You're just saying anything. Name the year that your white supremacist ancestors got anything going for themselves without Black people in America. What year?
1614, 1615, 1616. We were already exporting tobacco.
Sir, y'all damn near starved to death in Jamestown. Okay. Around that time, y'all.
So Tariq is giving pseudo history. It seems like they just want to come and, try to pretend, again, the same white people they're asking reparation from, they would claim, oh yeah, you guys didn't do anything. We did it all. So we're confused. If you did it all, why are you asking for reparations?
We're eating each other in Jamestown, sir. Please don't do that. Y'all didn't get anything going on around that.
There was no slaves to 1619 in Jamestown, and we were already exporting tobacco. So I debunked your point.
Sir, no, they didn't get tobacco into a prosperous export until the Black people got involved, sir. Until after 1619. It didn't really get pop until after 1619, sir.
Well, Black people weren't even 10% of the population to 1700. So when did you become significant? Because you never really passed 21%.
This white guy knows his history. Guys, I go by what is logical. Don't just sit on YouTube, read books. The guy is correct. So no need for me to even say it. We'll let the white boy say it. See, when you tell it like it is exactly, they're like, oh man, you hating. But why don't people want to hear what actually happened? Oh, another version. You can compare it and what makes sense to you,
Percent of the population, according to the demographics.
And we were the most important commodity, sir. It was our free labor that built up the entire wealth, sir. So what does that?
But you didn't do the majority of labor. White men did.
Why? What white men did the majority of labor? How? Where?
How many? there were more whites shipped here than blacks. More indentured servants shipped here than slaves.
Where did
And
you
that's
do
just the servants. That's not the wage laborers
where did you do the majority of work, sir? And what work
in
were
this
they doing?
country.
What work were
What
they
were they doing? A lot of indentured servants. They were blacksmiths. They were working in the fields. They were farming. They were cabinet makers. They
Sir,
were.
sir, the black people were in the fields. That's what the slavery thing was about. That's why they were paying top dollar for enslaved black people. That's why this country got so wealthy, because they had us in the fields and they didn't have to pay us. So that money kept getting aggregated and aggregated and aggregated and compounded, and that became the wealth of this nation, sir. You're just mayonnaise babbling at this point, sir.
So why, when you try to do it on your own, you failed?
See, this guy is not going by emotion. He knows Tariq is just blabbing. So he asked him a perfect question. Why did you guys fail?
Sir, foundational.
If you know how to build everything you're saying you guys did, why did you fail?
Black Americans, every time we get you white supremacists out of our mix, we're actually very successful, sir.
All right. So what happened when they freed the slaves?
That's why places like Tulsa, Greenwood, other places were so successful, because we got you out of our mix. And that's why you guys had to bomb and destroy our communities that we built on.
So they like to mention Tulsa, Oklahoma, Rosewood, but Harlem was way bigger and more successful. There's been plenty of what you would consider black Wall Street. This is just black economical enclaves. You know, the Harlem Renaissance was in the 1940s. So go and read your books.
Oh, sir.
But when they freed the slaves, it led to starvation to millions of black Americans. You can look it up.
Sir,
so that was your starving times. When we freed you, you couldn't survive.
Sir, that's a lie.
Look it up.
Now you see why the blacks are afraid to go to Africa? Why they want to be next to Massa? Because when Massa was in charge of them entirely, they starved. So now you understand why welfare is a thing. Because Massa, White Zaddy has to take care of the blacks. The white boy is just revealing it to you. Please make sure you hit the like.
And we gave you Liberia.
After slavery, black people started building up prosperous communities. This is after slavery. Black people put their money in the Freedmen's Bank, and they saw that black people could generate millions of dollars directly after slavery. We cut our illiteracy rate. Black people were making moves, and so you white supremacists had to undermine us with immigrants. You were flooding us with immigrants right after slavery, sir. So
you were always the minority here,
sir. But you guys saw that.
The guy's right, but obsession with immigrants. Guys like you were always the minority, which is true.
We were so prosperous after slavery, you had to slow that prosperity down and flood the zone with a bunch
according to what statistics?
With a bunch of, according to the damn statistics of them immigrants flooding over here. That's when most of the immigrants came over after slavery, sir. Is that true or not true?
They didn't come here for you. They came here to work for white people's companies. They didn't come here for.
Came here to.
Guys, how many times have I told you this? When they're like, oh man, the immigrants came here, I said, but they didn't come for you. Because it's white people that invite immigrants over here, because the companies are white companies. They own these companies, they employ people. So immigrants are not coming here because of blacks. They come in here because of the white people, just like the guy said.
They eat off the wealth that was already generated by foundational black Americans. You know why? Because they were starving, musty, and dusty in the slums of Europe, your homeland, sir. Right?
Well, why didn't you build Liberia, the land given to freed black?
With the Liberia, that was a...
Yeah, good question about Liberia. When they colonized the Liberian natives, the white man brought Liberia. Let's see what Tariq says about Liberia.
Clustered flop from day one.
You went over there and you failed.
Sir, if y'all don't stop with that Liberia, the white supremacists had their hands all in Liberia. That was a finesse and a con game. Most of us didn't go over there. You had other people from the Caribbean going to Liberia. You had people from other parts of Africa going to Liberia. So it wasn't just the few foundational black Americans who went over there. And plus the white supremacists were all involved. So yeah, it was a mess because your people were involved, sir. So stop with the Liberia stuff. We're fine when you're not in our
What happened in...
So remember, some of them said, oh yeah, we went to Liberia, we built it. When we said, oh, the white man is the one that gave you the money. Oh no, the white man have nothing to do with it. But now it's the white man's fault. Is the white man's fault again, here we go.
Civil rights. What did you fight for?
Sir, we got a lot of you white supremacists off our
To
back.
be part of white society because we built this country.
Sir,
And
this
you
is-
know it.
Sir. Okay, what did you build?
What did we build?
What's white
Let's see.
culture? No.
80% of U.S. companies that employ people.
Okay, slow down, Jeff. Slow down. Jeff, what?
So he's questioning the white man. What did you guys build? So the guy's like, 80% of US companies is owned by white people. So let's see if Tariq is going to deny this.
What's white culture? What's white American culture?
White American culture. Well, you're speaking a white man's language. A lot of what you call soul food is European food.
Nigga.
What you
Which is true, because it's definitely not African food. What they call soul food, I have said this. I have even written it in a paper when I was in the 13th grade. I wrote about soul food. I was like, no, it's not African food. I even researched it. It's Irish people food. This is why when you go to Irish bars, they got fried chickens and all that. This is why the best fried chicken spots in America is owned by white people. I mean, look at Popeye's chicken. It's so good. Black people go there and shoot each other or stab each other over Popeyes. Tell me I'm lying. Because we have footages, okay? They got Kentucky Fried Chicken. You know, the old Irish white man, he's got the gray. You know, the blacks claim, oh man, you stole the plant from us. Nah. In fact, I knew even a place, there's an Ethiopian place, they copied fried chicken from the Irish. Oh boy. This Ethiopians, man, maybe they have Irish blood, but they cook the fried chicken good. It tastes really good. Better than Popeyes even. But the white man is right. The food that the blacks claim, soul food, is white people food. Because it's not African food. Where did they learn it from? Who taught them to eat that food? If it's not from Africa, then. Here we go.
Like what? Oh, tell me what? Tell me. I got what? Tell me some of these dishes. Tell me.
All right. Where do collard greens come from?
Oh God. Okay.
They come from Greece. Where does fried chicken come from? It comes from Scotland.
So
all right.
So
the guy is correct. The fried chicken over in Africa, West Africa, we do pepper soup. We don't do fried chicken. See, Africans, stop pretending when you come across some of these blacks saying all this crazy stuff. You guys know damn well we don't eat no fried chicken. We do pepper soup. You can start it from the mouth of the River Gambia all the way Cameroon, Congo, all those places, pepper soup. Name any of those cultures you've seen frying the chicken. Okay? So that's white people food. Okay? The white guy is not lying. The white man knows their food. This is why when you go into the white bars, even here in America, just go to the finger foods. It is their food. It's their food. So it makes sense for the blacks to adopt it. And when they say, oh man, the white people don't season their food, do you see black people fighting to go eat in white restaurants? Imagine if they had seasoned the food. They're fighting to go eat there. They said there's no seasoning. Imagine if they put seasoning. What will happen?
Why does your fried chicken and collard greens have no flavor and ours do? Jeff?
You muted me. Oh, and that's why you. I seen your little thing. Where did you go on today?
Wait, why does your fried chicken and collard greens have no flavor?
Here we go with the no flavor. Guys, how many times, even in today's day and age, did we see black people, they would march around some white restaurant and claim that they did not let them in? So we are confused over here. You fought to go eat in the white man's restaurant, but now you're saying it doesn't taste good. See, the good thing is I live over here too. No, I've tried the white man's food. White people can cook some food. Man, I don't have to tell you. You guys know this for yourself. You see? So this, like, look, you cannot march to go eat in someone's restaurant. You're willing to get punched in the face. You're willing to get your food, someone to spit on your food, and you call it being heroic, and then turn around and say the food didn't taste good. I don't believe that. There's a reason why you want to go eat there instead of cooking your own food. But here we go.
Well, here's the thing. All the major chicken restaurants were started by white people. I hear you guys talk about seasoning, but you guys eat at our restaurants every day.
Like which one?
Every day you stuff your face.
What? No. What? Please tell me. What chicken place started by white people?
All right, Popeye's Chicken, Al Coupland, KFC.
Sir, oh God. Family, did he say KFC? You mean the recipe that Colonel Sanders stole from a black woman?
Oh, here we go. So everything is stolen from a black woman. So if you knew, does it matter if somebody stole it? You can just go continue to make your own chicken. But all right.
He stole.
Well, that's been fact checked, and there's no strong evidence.
Yes, stop. You guys always steal recipes. Even Popeyes, they stole recipes down there too.
Prove it. Prove it.
Paula Deen,
Buffalo Wild Wings. Every chicken restaurant you eat is the white man's.
Y'all stole the recipes from the black people, sir. Just because you can.
Guys, Tariq is the king of deflection. The king of deflection.
What white American culture, white supremacist culture?
Everything is stolen from them. Even, traveling to the moon was stolen from them. Okay.
There's the patent office. You guys can steal stuff and patent things at the drop of a hat. That's your culture. Stealing and patenting other things that black people create, sir. That's your culture right there, sir.
If that was true, why don't you have another country you can compare America to? A black country that's even half as rich. I could point to other Europe.
This is true. That would mean naturally blacks can build. So you can compare America to other white European countries. Same pattern. But here we go.
European countries. Because we built this country.
Like what? What other European countries can you point to? That the slave trade didn't build up to?
How many slaves were in Norway? It's ranked the most developed country, according to the Human Development Index. How many slaves were in Switzerland?
So he's trying to claim slaves built those places. So the guy is asking him, how many slaves were in those countries?
Sir,
and another thing is black Americans.
No, because the banks in Switzerland got their wealth from the money generated from the slave trade, sir, and the Vatican. All of them got their money generated from the transatlantic slave trade and the slave those who take on their white supremacists.
Hate you because you're black? No, they hate because you destroy the communities and you make people leave.
Oh, no, sir. Y'all leave because you guys are afraid of your genetics not being strong enough to mix in with black people. So that's what white flight is about. We don't destroy anything. In fact, the black communities that we control are the...
Tariq himself did a white flight. He's living with the whites. So this is very funny. But here he ran away from the blacks.
Cleanest communities. You white supremacists are living in funky, musty trailers, drinking out, sucking your sister's titty.
Really? What percentage of the population lives in trailers? I looked this up before.
Okay, most
6% of the population.
Stop it. Let's get something straight. Most of you suspected white supremacists are not bawling out. Most of you are dirty, little musty, inbred, mosquito bitten.
So he's insulting the whites. So everybody's poor, musty, and inbred, right? Then why is he asking them for reparation? Because he's saying they are poor. So how can poor people give you anything?
Canker-sore having rednecks sitting in a trailer park drinking a goddamn Bud Light with crust in your toes, dirty drawers, and wet dog smelling hair. So you're not all bawling out. But the only thing that keeps you alive and keeps you waking up every day is the thought of a group of people being subjugated by the dominant society, and that is black people. So white supremacy...
Well, if that was true, why would you be talking about a wealth gap? I always hear you talking about a wealth gap.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
But I thought we didn't have any wealth.
He got him there. Why do you talk about wealth gap?
So I thought we were all just living in trailers, and it doesn't make any sense.
Well, the middle class white supremacists and the wealthy white supremacists, they have the majority of the wealth. Now, you lower level white supremacists like you who live in the trailer, you're the foot soldiers for the middle class and the upper class. They use you as their little do boys.
I never lived in a trailer, but I just seen a fight of a Samoan and a black.
Stop it, sir. I hear the engine of your trailer.
So you're hearing this. So Tariq is saying most of the whites are poor. but he wants reparation from them. I'm just showing you how illogical, this guy is.
Car running right now. You're not a balding white man at all. You're one of these little dirty white supremacists who's low level living. Most of you guys, all the Section 8, most of you guys on Section 8, and y'all try to put that on us.
And raw numbers, but
stop with that bullshit. Owsley County, Kentucky is the welfare capital in the United States. Owsley County, Kentucky is a 99% white area, and 98% of the people are on welfare. Look that up. You do not have an all-black town where everybody.
Well, I went on the census website. It shows blacks have a higher percentage on welfare, percentage of their population.
Which is true, but Tariq is gonna fight it. Even Tariq in his own show, when he gets mad at the black women, he do say that. But so he's flip-flopping. This guy is not about the truth.
They're more whites in raw numbers, but the percentage of their population.
Y'all like to mix up raw numbers and all of that nonsense. Look, black people, if there's 2 or 3 black people on welfare, they have a reason to be, because the white supremacists, you deprive us of resources. Shit,
Who created welfare?
It's a wonder that all of us are not on welfare with the stuff that.
So white people created welfare and gave welfare to blacks, but Tariq is over here saying, no, it's just 1 or 2 black people. You see how ego and pride ruins black people's case? They are the most proud beggars. The people they are begging, they said they got more than those people. Why are you begging them?
You've done to us. But every law has been made to benefit the suspected white supremacists. So none of you should be on welfare. What the hell is your excuse? That's a question, Jeff. Jeff, that's a question. Jeff, can you put...
So he muted Jeff. This is what he does.
The meth pipe back on the stove and answer the question, sir.
You know what you did. You muted me. And that's why that lady turned off your microphone in your little speech, your conference thing, reparations.
Oh, so were you upset with what I had to say? Was that the thing that did?
Well, you didn't have a lot to say. She cut you off pretty quick.
I said enough, and the video is going viral. So I said enough. Did it bother you what I had to say about?
So to Raja say, oh, the only time they become cooks is when they become chefs. Hello. Why would you be a chef if you can't cook? Think about your own logic. You don't make sense. Who do you know that is just born out of the womb and can cook? If your logic is, oh, because, they got to go learn it. It doesn't matter where you learn it. They still can cook. That's what matters. God, this is wild.
About reparations today, sir?
Well, you're not going to get it. You can keep crying and complaining. You're not going to receive them.
Yes, we.
So the white man is telling him, you're not receiving any reparation. This is a week ago.
Oh, yes, we are. We're going to get reparations.
You heard Tariq. He said they're going to get reparation. All right. That brings us to the last clip here. Let's hear from Governor Knewsomething. Remember, the black people were running around talking about they got reparation in California. Let's find out what the governor said. Audrey said welfare wasn't created for black people only. Stop lying, AADOS. When did I say it was created just for black people? I never said that, Audrey. What's wrong with some of you? I guess you guys are always just trying to look to say, oh man, let me catch AADOS about lying about something. Well, Audrey, too bad. I'd never said that. You can go back and rewind the tape. Okay, so guys, let me play this video from Governor Newsom, who we would call Governor Knewsomething. The blacks are more interested in having the opportunity to roast people. That is their reparation. You notice he wanted to roast, Jeff, when he met the Hornets, he wanted to roast. So people cannot take them serious. So last week, when he was talking to Jeff emphatically told him, you guys are not getting any reparation. And Tariq emphatically replied and said, oh, no, in fact, we're getting it. So the verdicts are here from the white man himself, Governor Knewsomething. And let's see, because this have nothing to do with the tethers, right? So this is for educational purposes. Here we go.
Meanwhile, this $1.2 million per family. That's what California's reparations task force just approved for Black residents of the Golden State. Reparations are supposed to be payback for past injustice and discrimination stemming from slavery. California Governor Newsom said he would approve many parts of the reparation recommendations, but would not support any cash payments. He said, quote, "This has been an important process, and we should continue to work as a nation to reconcile our original sin of slavery and understand."
So, do you guys see that? So, the blacks were going for cash payments. Remember, they were doing all that talk, trying to say, oh man, it is the terrorists. But this is the Governor Newsom on reparations. I knew it was just a political thing. You know, why would California give reparation for slavery? It wasn't a slave state. They didn't have slaves there. So this is what he's saying. This has been an important process. We should continue to work as a nation to reconcile our original sin of slavery and understand how that history has shaped our country. Dealing with that legacy of slavery is about much more than cash payments. So let's see what they would say to the white man. Are they going to tell the white man, oh man, you can't tell us, you can't tell us, what we can do with the money? This is the man that would cut the check. Remember when they used to say cut the check? All that talk when they're coming, against Africans. I told you guys, it was all deflection. Because what does reparation have to do with Africans? What power do Africans have? You see the white man here. To them, this is Massa Newsom. Massa Knewsomething. All that barking, all that talk, they were like, oh man, we got reparation in California. I said, no, you're not getting it. Jeff also told them. So the governor here is saying, no, you're not getting no reparation. And the blacks are not complaining.
How that history has shaped our country. Dealing with that legacy of slavery is about much more than cash payments, unquote. The panel's recommendations will be presented at the task force's next meeting and then to the California legislature by the July 1st deadline. Now, if approved, these recommendations would cost the state billions of dollars.
So all that talk, all these people have, what did they do? They've turned everybody into, oh, he's a terror. This person is not for us. First of all, you have to remember, in California, the governor, they put up this task force. Anytime you see the state put up quote unquote task force, right? Who do you think, the people on that board, the people that gather the information, it says it's 9 of them. Go read up. The governor is the one that selected 5 of them. This is how the state works. You know what that means? It will come back 5-4 vote. So the system from that point of view have already been rigged against you from the get-go. They just wanted you to vote. 9 people. So the governor, he put 5 of them there. And you know what direction those 5s are going to vote for? You guessed it. Of course, they're going to say, they're going to go with what the governor wants. They've already planned this from the get-go. They've already planned it. Because they know that the blacks, they worship money. Money is God. They're not seeing money as tool. They see it as God. So they're like, hey, let's just, because this is steps. They're like, oh yeah, we approved X amount of money, but we still got to study it. Anytime you hear the state talking about studying stuff, they got a board. Oh hell, that means the system have been rigged against you. They don't want you to win. But instead of focusing on the real stuff, you're focusing on fighting people who have nothing to do with this, when you know clearly no African have any power for you to get a check on that? In fact, why would Africans even care to say, oh, you shouldn't have a check? Africans are happy for you to get your check. Because, I mean, ask yourself, what would be the reason for some African or Caribbean to hate on you receiving reparation checks? Like, why? Have you ever asked yourself that question? I bet you never did. But no, you just wanted to go along. You wanted to show your ass to the world, and we saw it. So here's now the white man, Governor Knewsomething, the man that gets to sign it. He's saying, nah, you can't get nothing. He's like, let's all just be one. Let's drink tea and coffee together, eat hamburgers, go to Popeyes, shop at Walmart. You know, let's just go back to the norm, you know, till we need you again, you know, for some election stuff. Until next time, we will wait. So you can go back and cry. We would see you next time.
Grills is a member of the California Reparations Task Force, and she joins us live now. Cheryl, thanks so much for coming on, and we do appreciate that. This has really been in the headlines for the past several weeks now in terms of moving forward here. I'm curious to know what your response would be to Governor Newsom's statement. He is not in support of cash payments. What is your response to that?
My response is actually very simple. I'm disappointed that the governor has taken this position. We as a task force were charged with Cheryl
Grills is very upset. I would have loved for Cheryl to receive her check. She looked like someone who would visit Ghana or Gambia, one of those places. So you guys must know, I am not against this cash reparations because I know you would head to Africa. You've been watching YouTube videos. So when you get it, you're going to be coming. So, but you guys yourself know the white man ain't going to give you no reparation because you already got your reparation. Like I said, you get to live in the white man's country, go to Popeyes, McDonald's, wherever you want, shop at Target, or if you want, you can steal from it. Go to Walmart. If you don't like what the white man say, you can attack and just, you know, do what you like. So that's reparation. Everyone knows this except you. And you're shocked when people point this out. That's the general consensus. I mean, hell, maybe, you know, the rest of the world thinks different. But if you look at even when you ask, they ask people who in America, do the blacks deserve reparation? Over 66% said no. So I'm just telling you. So all this acting like, oh man, it is the Africans and the Caribbeans. Sure. You know the number. You know who have the power. Cheryl here will tell you.
What's shepherding a process to remedy the harms done over 400 years to African Americans in the state of California. And one of the problems is that the governor may have forgotten that in the Assembly Bill 3121, we were instructed to follow the...
See. He said, Afridamus, you owe AADOS everything you have. You still would be in Gambia without them. That's not true. There are Africans in Germany. There are Africans in Russia, China, you know. I mean, you name it. These countries where there's no Africans. So, you know, the blacks here are Africans. If it wasn't them, it would still be us. So you have to remember the slaves themselves are Africans. You guys are funny. When you say if it wasn't for them, well, it was the other slaves. If they were not, if they didn't bring them, just like Germany and these places where they don't have blacks, now go over there. You see how many Africans are over there. So are you saying it's because of the foundational black Germans who made that happen Please let me know. Maybe I'm just ignorant. If they have foundational Black Russians also, let me know about that. So are you telling me the Blacks that are going to Poland, is there foundational Black Polish there too? So please spare me that. Oh, if you say if the Blacks didn't fight, well, if they didn't cry to the white man, they would still be oppressed by the white man. Well, they still claim to be oppressed. Nothing's really changed. Why do you think we're having these shows? Because we hear people who are saying they are oppressed. And they're still saying it. Okay? Exactly, Audrey, the foundational Black Ukrainians. So, yeah, you guys need to cut the crap. Okay? So,
guidelines of the United Nations on reparations. Those guidelines there are 5 components to them. One of the components.
Did you guys see this? Ms. Gill is quoting the United Nations. So that's why you guys need a country to represent you. But now you've cut yourself, you've cut all ties from Africans and Caribbeans. Let's see, find yourself a country that's going to help you in the United Nations.
Is in fact cash payments for the harms done. And so again, I'm disappointed.
Do you feel like you want to continue, again, this process? If you know the governor's not going to sign off on cash payments, is this a major blow to this goal?
No, absolutely not. The governor is one person. And we have the force of community behind us. We have the support of allies behind us that says, look, wrongs were done. We laid out in no uncertain terms the nature of those harms in a near 500-page report. Then we had economists take a look at what might be the financial assessment of those harms in terms of a cash payment component.
All right. So, guys, you get the point. So this is a tussle that is still happening, obviously. Now you see, the governor said they're not cutting the checks. So my question to the Blacks, the foundational, Beggars Association, the ones that identify to that. Okay, now that the white men have come out, Governor Newsom, aka Governor Knewsomething, the man with the power to sign in that dotted line, have come out and said, Niete, no cash payment. So we don't want to hear it is the Black immigrants, or as you guys like to say, it is the terrorists. I know some of you would still try. They would still make up something and be like, oh, the terrorists went to the governor and cry and said, oh, if you give the Blacks reparation, what are we going to do? They can come up with something like this. But I've seen Tariq already making up headlines talking about, oh, it's not going to be good for Joe Biden in the next election, 2024 against Trump. And now they are excited talking about, oh, they're going to deport, the immigrants. Like, not realizing most of us are citizens of this country. And some of the people they call immigrants, those people were born here. They themselves, they don't even know American law. See, if you can vote, you got one vote, I got one vote. So how are you going to call me an immigrant? It makes no sense. Sure, I got a homeland where, I got a base. But don't forget, I got one vote and I pay taxes. You see? So that gives me the power to participate in this. So when you say, oh, these immigrants don't have the right to speak. Oh, no, we sure do. We sure do. We pay taxes in this country. We vote in this country. You want our money, but you don't want us to question you? Oh, hell no. We got to question everything. We got to question everything. This is why, see, Governor Newsom went and saw the documentary, what the Latinos put out there. You guys remember John Leguizamo's documentary that I highlighted here? The Hispanics, they say, Governor Newsom, we built this country. We got more numbers than the Blacks. We got more money than the Blacks. We got larger population here in California. You want to try this? You want to test this out? See, the blacks, they know this. They know this. But to save face, guess who they gotta pick on? Us. But now let's see if they're gonna come back. You know, our arms are still open, blacks. We get it. You lost this round, but we're still open to accepting you back. We just have few criterias, that's all. Okay? But you guys know we've always been open to, you know, accepting you. We get it. You went, you fought hard and it didn't turn out good. So maybe, I don't know, in the next season, you guys are gonna become African again. You know, I'm anticipating that you guys are probably gonna try to become African again. And, you know, I would still make fun of you guys, but we would accept you. You know, we just don't want to hear the Indian stuff. We don't want to hear you guys trying to blame us for the reparation, you know, saga here. We all heard the white man. So trying to blame us would no longer fly. You have no leg to stand on. We have the proof. I've just shown the proof to the whole internet. So please, all that crying, all that mumbo jumbo stuff, save it for Massa. That's right. Massa Newsom or Massa Knewsomething. And, you know, like when I show these clips, guys, I'm not trying to make fun of the blacks. That's not my intention. But the self-hate that many exhibit on the internet, you know, I don't think they even understand. So this is why people like myself have to come here and take the time and edutain you exactly on what is happening. I have even presented a better case for them. Wouldn't you guys agree? Imagine if I was speaking for the blacks to get reparation. I wouldn't be saying, oh, my people here, they are Indians today. Next day, they are Maroons. Another day, you know, I mean, like, who knows? They're from planet Mars. These guys are from everywhere. You see? And I notice some of them have been going to, you know, East Africa. Let's say Rwanda. Rwandan people and us West Africa, our phenotypes is not even the same. Some of them are called Muzungu over there. They're like, oh, the Muzungu family next door. I'm going to do a show about that. And many are upset. It's like, why are these blacks running away from who they are? Why are you running away from who you are? I don't get it. You notice when you come to West African countries, you fit right in. There's a reason for that. Some of you are running away to Ethiopia and you're mad because Ethiopians, you know, no, you're not from there. Look, it's not that hard. I mean, a black person in America who's had years of opportunity to go to Popeyes, Kentucky Fried Chicken, McDonald's, you know, Five Guys. I mean, you land in Ethiopia, you're going to stand out. Look, I just hate to tell you. Seriously, I just hate to tell you, but that's what will happen. So, ladies and gentlemen, I dropped the link. No one hit the link, but look, I'm hungry. I'm going to go get something to eat, maybe from the Cubans. The Cubans know how to make good sandwich. You know, I would love to support a black business. Okay. If you know, I mean, look, even the soul food place I know, as usual, is owned by the white man. You know, they have the Irish blood. You see? So I'm just a realist. I'm not a hater. I'm here to wake you up to reality, ladies and gentlemen. because it's, there's too much pain in America. Too many people are misled by charlatans on the internet who just get people all hyped up, because many of these people, they don't want to admit it. Many of the blacks, they have white privilege. Have you guys noticed that? They have white privilege. What is white privilege? White privilege is American privilege. I'm able to speak about this because I have that privilege too. How many times have I told you guys about how I use my American privilege? In fact, I'm using it right now. You see, I'm using it right now. But we got people who, they're not only looking, saying, oh, I appreciate the privilege I have. They want to be above everyone. That's the truth. Jonathan said, wow, Cuban food is as African as you get on this side of the ocean, bro. You are 100% correct. But you see, I'm open to eating any good food. Shilani said, what country would you say has one of the best foods besides your own? Oh man, Shilani, that's a tough one. But I have a couple of countries on the top here. Besides my own, I would say Greek food, traditional Greek food is really good. Okay. Look, I don't even want to, I would just stick with Greek food for now. I love Cuban food also. American food for sure. It's good food. So yeah, I'm open to a lot of foods, but Greek food is what comes to mind. Indian food is good too. Oh, Japanese. I just love the variety. Just love the variety. Let's see here. G Black, thank you for the super chat. He said, when are we getting an African version of Liberia in the USA if it's only fair? Well, there is wealthy Liberians in this country. Oh, Mr. Swall, you just reminded me actually. Yeah, Corey Goat. I love Corey Goat. Man, rice and beans. Yeah, I love Jamaican food actually. Let's see. Kabir, welcome in the house. He said, as much pain I admit, Afridamus is 100% right, but don't forget the white man colonized us. But just imagine what he did to slaves. Yeah, I'm not saying it's all rosy. It's all rosy. But yeah, hey, Mr. Swole, you just, man, oxtail. I love me some oxtail. Look, guys, I'm getting hungry as I speak about this. I don't want to keep myself waiting or keep you guys waiting, but please feel free to leave your comments. Let me know exactly what you think. What do you guys think AADOS FBA is going to do now? Do you guys think they're going to come back to Africa again? Ever since they've been doing this right here the whole time. Watch.
I can do some shuffling too. Look out, man, what you gonna do? Look out, boys, it's coming through. Yeah, man, yeah, man. Boy, he got educated feet. Boy, I practice all the time. Here's one I sat up all night trying to do. Get this.
That's right. That's what they were doing for Massa. I got a quick call here. Mike, welcome to the Afridamus Report. Mike, are you there? All right. I don't know what happened to Mike. Maybe he's connected to the white man's internet next door. Who knows? But let's see some of these comments here. She's like, Greek food He said Greek food. He said that's racist. That's what you see. This is what I'm talking about. They gotta make everything about race. Look, if you don't like Greek food, don't eat Greek food. I love Greek food. I will eat Greek food. How does that bother you? I don't get that. If you don't like Greek food, don't eat Greek food. Simple as that. But I guess Popeyes is not white food. I guess not. Mike, are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Loud and clear. Mike, what do you want to add onto this before I run off to go get some food?
Yeah, I mean, this argument about who built what and what and what and what. I mean, people like it's really funny. At one point, I'm like, hold on, isn't America still under construction? I mean, like if you travel across the South, it's like, I mean, honestly, who's really doing the building today is like the Mexicans, to be honest. Like these guys are. Like, I travel across the South, and like the level of, I mean, development is still like has to be done. You know, because I'm in the engineering field. There's so much like project, like stuff that still have to be built. You know, like literally when I came here, I remember when I first came here, like the first time I came here was '98, and I came to like the South, a place like Houston. Like today, like 75% of Houston today was jungle in 1998.
So Mike, how long have you been identifying as black?
I don't know what the hell black is, man. There's no such thing as what kind of identity is black. I mean,
Okay, so you're not getting any reparation. Okay, because to get reparation, you have to be publicly. You have to have been, calling yourself black for at least 12 years. So you don't know what black is. I guess you are not qualified, sir.
I'm not interested in being black, man. I know who I am. So I don't.
Well, okay, Mike, we get it. So we know who's not gonna be applying for reparations. And me myself, the blacks, they approve of me.
This whole thing. Honestly, you see, when I talk to a lot of young, because I do a lot of mentoring, sometimes I talk to a lot of young African American kids, and I try to tell them, like, like these guys are trying to lead them. Like these people really, I mean, they've been a source of their failure, to be real honest, man. Like the Tariq, the Al Sharpton, Jesse Jackson, all these guys, Yvette, what they're doing is it's exploitation. That's what it is. Give them,
absolutely.
The whole game. The quickest way to make money, divide and conquer. Just find some division, create a division, and then stage there, pick a side, and then have one side set to you, pay you to lead them or to side with them,
Mike,
or something.
Now that they said they cannot get reparation in California, do you think the blacks will come back since they no longer they became xenophobes and they didn't like Africa? All the other. Do you think now that they said no reparation, do you think they're gonna become African again?
That's I'm glad you mentioned. You know what's funny? Like when this whole thing began, right? When you started with Yvette, and she started spilling these anti-Caribbean, anti-African, Nigerian specifically. They always single us out. Nigeria. When they talk about Africa, then they will specifically mention Nigerians.
You know why?
And why?
You know why? You know why? Because if you meet, I think 1 in 5 African or so would be Nigerian, right? So if most Africans you meet are Nigerian, so everything is going to be Nigerian. So your idea of African would always be Nigerian. This is why.
So I see what you mean. So basically, when he started, there's some reasonable Black Americans that have some sense. They were like kind of like buying into it. I'm like, okay. One of them was like Dennis, like I said, listen, I get it. They think there's a legitimate argument that the other blacks are gonna undermine them. They presented the argument that they're gonna undermine them and things like that. I'm like, I get it, but at the end of the day, this that you're doing, creating this this division, like burning bridge between other group of blacks, which are the only possible ally you can have in the United States. Because
I know.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, if at the end of the day you're gonna get this reparation, then it will make sense. Like, okay, at least you make that friendship sacrifice for money for something that's attainable. But at the end of the day, if you don't get that reparation, this relationship that you've messed up, oh man.
Well, even if you get the reparation, so
at least we can say, hey,
but still,
if they get the if they get the reparation, at least someone like me can say, you know what, it makes sense. I mean, hey, you have to do what you have to do to get what you need to get. I can't look at it that way. Like, hey, it's not personal, it's business. They need to get something. But the chance of them getting it, I knew it was very next to none. And that's why I'm like, you doing all these bridge burning between yourself and the people that literally can, like, are the only kind of potential, like, best allies you can have in the United States.
Do you think they're gonna become Africans again?
I don't think they've created the division to the point where it's we like the but they've messed them, like, their reputation has been kind of dented so deep that I don't think the Africans and Americans will have the same level of respect they have for them before. Like, whoever, I don't think that level of respect is going to be there again, because I never thought I would get to a point. I never thought I would lose that level of respect for a Black American as a group. I mean, I'm not saying I don't respect them anymore, but I'm just saying, like, the level of respect I had for them as a group is kind of like, these guys is kind of, I mean, like, God, Lord. And I try to talk to, like, the intelligent one, like, listen, what these guys are doing is not really it's not favorable, to be honest. Like, they're literally, because, I mean, even you and I, you can admit that. I mean, prior to all these behavior, I mean, you can't tell me that this is how you really felt about them. Like, I'm not saying like in fact, those are things.
Well, you have to remember, I used to be a Pan-African too. I used to go to actual meetings. Like, I support. Look, some of the stuff, now looking back, kind of is dumb. But I'm like, hey, I gotta support my people. You know what I'm saying? Black power. I gotta support my people.
I'm kind of glad maybe this whole thing happened. Kind of made me to start to, like, do some real deep thinking and get
like
some
soul
things.
search.
Because exactly, soul search. Because prior to this whole thing, I just used to kind of like side and follow them, kind of like blindly, kind of like ignore the this old anti-white thing. I used to feel like this is not my culture to just be racist, just hate someone simply because they're race or their differences. There has to be some kind of particular reason why I have to have disagreement. But back then I used to just jump on their bandwagon when they're doing the white
and just pretend.
Man. Yeah, just pretend, like, even though deep inside I felt like this is not right. I can't
because imagine jumping on someone's bandwagon, like in Nigeria, they say they're against another ethnicity. Like, you'll be ashamed to explain that to someone openly, to know that you think like
exactly that. You want to kind of like, hey, nah, not really, like, that's not my character, but they do it like so openly. They speak so anti-white, anti-Hispanic, anti-Asian, the Indians. It's almost like they like take everyone, all non-blacks, as their enemies. But we, the Africans and the Caribbean, we kind of like just like kind of side with them to some degree, but because
I think people are seeing the fraud now, so it's like,
yeah. But now it's like, I'm like, hold on, let me be real with myself. Honestly, I never wanted to be. I was never on the board with you with all these anti-white, anti-Asian, all these people in the first place. To be honest, now that you like put me on the same basket as all the people you ate. Oh, okay, now you know what? Guess what? I'm sorry. I'm glad you even did that. So let me tell you how I really feel. I don't hate you, but I don't hate all these white people and all these other people you want me to hate. I don't hate people because simply their skin color. I can't do that. I can't do that. It's silly. I can't do that. So that's the thing. But I think the Tariq Nasheed event and all those people, they really, like, in the name of reparation. I mean, come on. They really
now that California is saying no, I wonder what Tariq, because some of them I've already heard. They're still talking about Africans. oh yeah, man, these terrorists shouldn't be speaking about reparation. Like, my guy, you just heard the white governor, Governor Newsom or Knewsomething, just said no cash reparation. So now why you wanna complain about Africans? What did Africans do? You see? So it's all deflection. It's either Africans, the Caribbeans. I don't even know what they want at this point.
I think those people that are leading them, they just exploiting them. I've always saw the Jesse Jackson and I shout all those guys to be like that. I've always seen them to be like that because it's just it's a game of, let me show you your enemy and let me help you fight them, and you just donate money to me. You understand? It's not your fault. Everything that's wrong with you is not your, how you exploit the weak-minded. You just tell them, hey, everything that's wrong with you is not your fault. Is that person over there that's responsible? The reason you can't do this is because of that person, and let me help you attack that person. So you just donate money to me. That's the game. Donate the little that you have. You know how the Nigerian scammers do their scam game. Like, when they know you're not rich, when they'll come to you say, listen, there's $20 billion somewhere. I can help you get it. You and I will split it. Hey, just give me that little lawyer fees and the little.
And some dummies go for it.
All they want from you is probably $500, but they promise you, $5 million hiding somewhere.
See, Mrs. H said, "Feathers ruin everything." I bet they do.
So that's the game these guys play with them. Like, they'll tell them, you know what? Hey, that's a reparation somewhere. That's what $300,000 come to your pocket. Hey.
No, you know what California did? You know what they did? They pretended that they were gonna give each black resident like $5 million, right? But when you go and read the documents, so they are like, okay, so even though they pretend like it's about slavery, but it's not about slavery. So they're saying that they're going to give reparation to black people who are affected, let's say from 1940s, which many blacks moved there. I think 1940s to 1970. So how many people would be qualified? In the 70s, I wasn't born, even myself. How many of these blacks that are running around?
What they don't understand is why people are far more intelligent than them. So,
well, it's the old Negroes.
First of all, you know what's really funny? Like someone like Tariq Nasheed, right? You constantly attack white people, call them white supremacy, white, insult them and everything. So you expecting the same people that you're insulting to actually give, you think they will actually hand something to you after like insulting and attacking them, and his followers actually believe. I'm like, these people, can you think at all? Like, you behaving in a very belligerent, very, condescending manner towards the people, and you're expecting them, like you the way you irritate white people, it's like, I mean, like you know what, Afro-Damus, when we African, we talk white people, they like to speak their mind, the way they feel about blacks, but when they get around them, they don't want to really tell them how they feel because they know they will attack them or so. White people, it's like they really feel like when they say African American, they feel so disgusted a lot. Like, why these people just, they don't understand. Now you want something from them, and then rather than, in Africa, it's a wisdom. If you want something from somebody, even if you want something from your enemy,
it's called entitlement.
Exactly. That's the mentality. If you want something from someone, even if that person is your worst enemy, that's the time you have to actually act like a friend. Like, be friendly and be, trying to, just because they decide whether they hand it to you or not. Now, when Tariq Nasheed, the way he talks about white people, white supremacy, white this and that, and people believe this is a guy that's going to lead them to get the actual check from this same white people.
I hope many would actually truly wake up and see what is happening, because like, if this continues, like, not only are you alienating yourself from all the other races, including your own race,
like, god damn,
including your own race, because you're not like only, even if it's not all black people that even think this way, but let's say even if 40 million still think like this, right? That's still a drop in the bucket compared to the population of black people. Like, you put Caribbeans, Africans, and all these other dark skin. We are way more. So you cannot alienate or attack your own kind and think you're gonna win. It's not gonna happen. Hold
Yeah,
on,
like
let me read this.
yeah.
Say, Mike, what is the simplest translation for adupe Yoruba? I believe it's similar to midase in Akantui or midangpe in Ewe. Do you know what he's talking about? Thank you for this super chat.
I
Do
think
you
what he's trying.
do you know what he's saying?
Yeah, I know what he's. I do means we thank you. You know, we are thankful.
But
That's
thank you for the
yeah.
super chat. But that's my
Mhm.
point. It's like, they just need. I hope they seeing the writing on the wall and wake up. Like, following these charlatans is not gonna get them anywhere.
Yeah, those people. Yeah, those people really messed them up, man. Like I mean,
And
literally, when the whole thing started, I'm like, nah, this is a disaster. Because literally, I always thought like the only ally that potentially has what it takes to actually lift them up, like lift their people, assist their people in America, were the African immigrants, the Africans, particularly like certain cities you go, particularly Nigerians, like they could literally like they can form alliance. That's what I used to think. Like, you know what, the Nigerians and the Africans can actually help them to kind of groom them to the level of maybe the
but
Asians
see,
and
Mike, they
the
think we
Hispanics.
are against them when we are not.
Exactly. I don't know. Back in the days, I don't know if they still do it. After that was like maybe in the 90s and the 2000s. The first thing African American will come up to you and say is, "Oh, you Africans hate us," like stuff like that. Like the Africans don't like us. Notice,
Right,
like
right.
they'll walk up to, like, literally when you first come from Africa, right? Like, growing up in Africa, you watch them on TV. You see their celebrities,
Right.
and you come into America, you want to come become friends with them. Like, you want to, like you trying to come mingle with them and stuff. And then once you get here and you trying to get in their midst, the first thing they will accuse you of is, you don't like us.
Right.
Before they even get to know you, you don't like us.
Because it's
And they
all, they operate in fear. Like, they have to justify, to express whatever anxiety they have. So it's
Well,
like, okay, like they see something about Africa. So seems like an American thing, but it's worse with the blacks. So instead of accepting, like, for instance, you see something on TV, they take it as the whole truth.
The old truth.
So if you come from Africa and you don't fit the bill of what they saw, they get upset at you for not living up to that. They're like, oh, you think you better? No, like, dude, the same thing you saying you saw on TV, I saw, but doesn't speak to my life. It doesn't apply, right? Maybe there are people that you saw, you saw them just like I saw them, but they want you to fit that bill, so therefore, when you don't fit it, they have to give themselves a reason not to like you. So just like with the white man, they are like, oh, the white man don't like us. Who do you see going around saying entire groups of people don't like you?
Don't like you.
Like,
It doesn't even make
this is
sense
not
at all.
it's not normal. You know what I'm saying? So that's why when you ask question to them, it's like, oh, these Africans don't get it. No, because it's not normal.
It's not
Yeah, it's not normal. It's not normal for people to walk around, just thinking people hate you.
People hate you.
Like,
Exactly.
it's not a healthy way to live.
It's not a healthy way at all. Like,
Yeah.
and it's not. Even a lot of young ones are trying to say that, like, don't do that. Don't just presume that this is the way an entire people, and just for that reason you don't associate yourself with those people. Like the way they ask.
Let me read this. Zongo said, Afridamus, at your own backyard, Governor Inslee recently passed a bill for them to address the impact of racially restricting them from owning homes. Zongo, did they put the criteria how long you have to have been identified as black? Because I have met the threshold. I'll look into that, because I have been black for over 12 years, at least over 19 years now. I'm just saying. But continue, Mike. Thank you, Zongo, for bringing that, to my attention. Little did I know there's reparation forming up for us over here to continue.
This mentality of stuff is being given, it has to be given, I think that shit gotta go, man. Like
well this is why many like to tell the lie and say, oh man, they give Africans all this stuff. I'm like,
yeah,
I'm like, where is this free stuff at?
This mentality that for you to succeed, someone have to give you something. Like success will hand it to you. Like, oh, they're giving y'all coming over here, they're giving y'all these. I listen to some of them will be like, oh, they're giving immigrants grants, they're giving these people these, them Nigerian, they give them. That's why you're not making it, because you're thinking until something is given to you before you can actually make it in life. That's what you call. That's a slave mentality.
Yeah, because first of all, most people, they don't realize if you come here, like on a visa or whatever, like you need even workers permit to work in this country. So generally people that immigrate here, unless it's like through their family, like they got to figure out how to get workers permit and all that. You cannot just come and apply for things. That's not how America works. You see? And
there's no way you can tell me people like Tariq Nasheed, like, no way he doesn't know that. You can't tell me these people don't know.
No, I think
know,
Tariq,
but they would deceive their people.
I think Tariq knows.
They know. When those guys talk, I know that they know, because those guys are very educated. They went to school. They know.
Look. Here's the thing. It's a game, right?
It's a game. They just exploiting
because a lot of this stuff, like what Tariq says. Tariq himself, he doesn't believe it.
He doesn't believe it, yeah.
I mean, like, trust me, he says a lot of dumb stuff, but do I believe that he's a dumb guy? Absolutely not. He says things for a reason. Because look at it.
The Nigerian, they say
giggles.
They say if you want to catch a monkey, you gotta act like a monkey. So they act dumb, like those dumb people he wants to exploit. So you gotta say dumb shit like them. So just dropping himself to their level and saying all that ignorant stuff. So and put it in a very you present it in a very articulate manner. And then it sounds so sweet in the ears. You speak the language.
You see, like KBM said, even refugees to this country after a certain time period has to pay back the U.S. government for their plane, flight, and other assistance they receive in order to get started in this country. I believe it.
You see what is Afridamos? What most Americans understand is this: the government will present this whole immigrant story on the news and stuff as if like, oh, we are these people. It's a charity case. We're just helping people to come here.
And Mike, isn't it funny how those immigrants you talk about, you have never seen or known any of them in real life?
Yeah, exactly. What they don't understand is this: America is not stupid.
Right.
America is probably the hardest country to migrate to. The game is they're looking for the human resources that they want. They keep what they want and they deport what they don't want. That's simple as that. That's the game. That's the game. They're fishing for human capital. That's it. We're looking for people. We're lacking the resourceful. Resourceful people? We need people that can be very resourceful. They can.
Well, the thing is, America is a place that they want people with talents.
With talents,
so all different kinds of talents. So if you're willing to work and apply yourself, they will reward it.
They will reward it, exactly, because they have the wealth. America has the wealth. The thing is, America has the wealth, but lacks the human capital, right?
Well, they have human capital, which they invite people from all over the world,
and that's how they get it. That's how they get it. That's why they go out there. They did this in Europe for a long time. Like literally, most of the best, even to today, most of the best white Americans, they're descended of
Yeah,
recent,
America
like,
has lots of smart people.
If you start looking at most of the successful white, even Donald Trump, even the Kennedys, most of those presidents, you realize their parents came straight from Ireland or Italy or Germany. They were like children of immigrants, and But if you look at the original, the first earliest white American that first came here, they were like the plantation owners, like those old ones. They're like the rednecks of today, the hillbillies.
I don't think so. I don't think the rednecks did not own slaves. Redneck mean poor. They worked in the farm. They call them redneck because they worked in the farm.
No, what
That's
I
why
notice is
the back of their neck gets red from the sun.
Do you when you interact with I don't know how much you interact with white Americans, right?
I live in the snow, Mike.
If you notice the most like successful, most brilliant whites that you talk to, you will find out that also my grandfather came from this place, or they just like 1 or 2, 3 generation Americans. But when you meet those ones that are very like so ignorant, they're so like maybe on the drug, like those kind of ones, when you have conversation with them, they're the one that'll give you a story of 1600s, and they'll tell you, you could tell that they're like 10, 15 generations Americans, So what I'm saying is that, like, when the American immigration system is always about bringing like quality people from other places, like not necessarily the best of the people of those places, but the people they know that they want. So when the program is still intact to today, and people are coming, and a lot of these people are like, oh, this immigrant, but this immigration thing has been there since the beginning of America. Everybody's an immigrant. You understand what I'm saying?
Of course, yeah, absolutely.
And it's not like today is different, that they just allowing people in like just like that. No, even if you slip through the cracks and you're not a quality person, you come in, maybe you're a criminal or you're not productive, you're not gonna last. Eventually they will deport you.
But Mike, since the blacks, they want reparation, but reparation, they said, is for slavery. But there's many of them that deny slavery. They said it didn't happen.
They said they're Indians.
They're Indians. So how are they going to get reparation if they
completely confused? I mean, these people are just embarrassing themselves. I think intelligent black Americans will just step out and just come out and shut them down, because they're just embarrassing themselves, man.
No, I was noticing, I was talking to some black people, like I was telling them about this. They know nothing about it. They were shaking their head. They're like, oh my God, here we go again with Negroes. Like, these are like, regular hardworking black people making their own money. Of course, the blacks will call them coons, but those people got money. They got their own money. They're living their lives. So they're not talking about any of this stuff. They're just living their American dream. That's all.
I think those people, one of the mistakes those people made is like they become powerful, but they don't exercise it. But there are a lot of these weak ones to just be the ones to be leading their people, where you're supposed to shut these weak ones down, these so-called gangsters or whatever, they tough guys. You're not tough.
It's by design, though. You have to remember that.
The real tough person is the one that's successful, the one with the money and the brain. So it seems like in the black community, it seems like those with brains tend to think they're weak. Like, the general acceptance of strength is aggression. The guy that's gangster.
What happened?
No, to me, that's not strength. That's not power.
No,
the real powerful person is the guy that's successful. You understand? The guy that highly educated, that's a real powerful person. You that is just in the hood, just because you got a couple of guns in your closet means you're not a tough guy, man. Anybody can have guns, or you just belligerent, you're arrogant, you talk tough, and call yourself. No, the real tough person is the person with the brain, the money, and the success. You understand? And
Mike, before I go, because I gotta go get food. Mike, so now that California Governor Newsom, to the blacks, Massa knew something. Massa said no. So are they gonna come back to being African? And I say our hands are open. Blacks, you can come back. Okay, it's okay.
You can come back. But don't expect the level of respect you used to get from the Africans. Though. They're not going to give you that same level of respect anymore. Though.
Yeah.
Don't come back and expect the oh, you know how we used to pander to them and all that. Ain't nobody pandering no more, dude. Like the Africans are not gonna pander to you like that anymore, man. They just gonna you've reduced yourself, man. Over reparation and come on, man. Like they've really reduced themselves. Even the way like a lot of Africans I used to know that.
Mike, they can come back to Africa.
Hey, you do what you want to do, I'm okay,
but if they stop this, even the ones that were Indians, since now they're not gonna get reparation, the prospect is not looking good. Do you think they're gonna stop being, Indians?
Hey,
hold on, let me read this. Zongo said, "I will claim my reparations check through my African ancestors who were enslaved in America. The blacks claim to be Indian, so there's no reparation checks for them." No, Zongo, you cannot qualify because you have to at least be known to refer to yourself as black, minimum of 12 years. So you haven't even been here 12 years. So I'm sorry, my guy.
I've been here over 12 years, man.
But you don't claim black. You don't claim black. So I have been claiming black for some time. To where you think I'm joking, Mike? Mike, I have been black for so long. In fact, last year I renewed my honorary black status. Here is my card. Seeing it right there, printed black, and this was discussed in the dark basement.
So you're black. You become black on payday. So you're one of those people they talk about, right? They say, "Hey, you black when it's convenient, right?"
No. They said you have to claim black for minimum of 12 years. I've been claiming black for over 19 years now. Okay.
Is it the governor that said that? I mean, they just
look. It's in the documents. Okay. So this is why they've been attacking. Africans, because they know some of us we qualify. We've been claiming black. Okay.
You know those white people they will sit with there and say, "Oh yeah, let's discuss this reparation. Let's get together." Yeah, well, black Americans understand it. Those white people that come to your face and act like, hey, they're on board with what you're talking about. Trust me, when they get back home, they get together. It's like the topic of comedy for the night. They laugh at you behind your back, man. That's what they don't understand. Like these white, they laugh at you guys behind your back, dude. Like they literally make mockery of them. Like
I know. Let me read this super chat. He said, "No, we need to help them build Africa stand in America." Yes, we will. And Raja said, "This world is a stage for sure, and the Most High is sitting and laughing at the show." Yeah, probably having fun. Hey, happy companion, welcome in the house. He said, "Afridamus is a tether." Yes, I'm the chief of the tethers over here. But now that the white people have wrote that 12 years, 12 years you've been claiming to be black. Over 19 years. I just showed this is why I've been keeping all my cards. Every year I keep renewing it. So
after calling you tether, calling so that's gonna make us disappear. What? It's gonna make the Africans disappear. I don't get it. Like these guys, man.
They're entertained. These guys are
you call the Africans tethers, the Caribbean tethers, you call their names. Oh, we're gonna we lineage, this and that. Okay, fine. And at the end of the day, are they gonna disappear? Will they all pack and go back to the Caribbean or Africa? Or
I just wanted, so Mike, you saying, yeah, it's okay, the blacks can come back. So Audrey said Afridamus is a whole tether. Audrey, can you imagine, they announce on TV, they're like, yeah, this man he's been black for over 19 years now, and I receive my check and I come out and thank all the black people for all the fight for reparation. We've been doing this together. I think they will be. Do you think a lot of them would be happy for me?
They're gonna come for you, man. Like, you stole my money.
No. The white man gave it to me, and
that's the funny thing. Like, they don't understand. Like, who has the power to make things happen? Is the white people. Like, literally. Like, you keep demanding respect, and when some of these guys constantly will say, "Oh, I fought for you to be. I fought for you to come over." I'm like, dude, no African is looking at you like that. Like, you fought for him to come over here. Really? Like,
I think they want us to give them a check when they say this.
Someone like Carlo Genesis would tell me, "Oh, you pander to white." Well, when it comes to the white man, I'm like, yeah, because the white man be the company that I work for. God damn it! I mean, am I supposed to be mean to them? Like,
Mike, you don't even have any shame, huh?
Carlo Genesis has nothing.
You see,
he has nothing
the blacks. I didn't put him up to this, okay? I didn't put him up to this. Mike is speaking. So, Mike, what do you think about the African Pan-Africans? Do you think they are sad about this news from California? Let's say your brethren in the UK there, two Niger and others.
Oh, the UK.
Do you think? Because he was hoping, I don't know which Bonquisha he's been talking to, but she was probably telling him, two Niger, I can't wait to get my check. So you can move. You can move over here.
In the UK, like the UK's the identity is Black America. They're the Black America of the UK. They think they're the extension of Black Americans. Over there, they believe United Kingdom and United States is one country. So they think, damn it, Black America are one. So the identity over there is Black America.
Confused. Look at
they're confused, man.
I remember as a young child, they were not letting anyone come over here in Americas. It was only whites, blacks, and Indians. They were always, man, Roger, how old are you? 90 years?
See, I heard that too. Like, you
gotta be at least 90 or 100 years. Like, what are you talking about? People have been coming here from the inception. The people they call the slaves, they were Africans. This is what one time I heard one say, "Oh, the Africans weren't coming here." I was like, you do realize the slaves they brought here were Africans. Do you not get that? So Africans have been coming here from the get-go, whether forced or however way. We've been coming here.
Africans, somehow, I don't know how white people I don't know how they figure out to deceive like Black Americans, to be honest. Like, a lot of times
it's easy.
Dude, a lot of times, why do you actually make Black Americans feel that, hey, this thing that we did it because you fought for it.
Right.
Like something like
they want them to feel good about themselves.
Yeah, feel good. For example, like the civil rights era, the 60s when they started giving African countries independence and then like giving Black Americans doing civil rights. You know what was going on in the world? It was a Cold War that was going on, right? The Soviet Union was on the rise, and the Soviet Union was trying to like use the blacks against the Western, countries, So the West realized that, oh, we really have to reverse our behavior towards these Black people globally, right?
Right.
So they started like doing the whole civil rights thing, even though it's a fake civil right. It wasn't really something real, like, oh, we are integrating, But then they would now tell them that, hey, we doing this for you because you're marching and protesting. Who give you anything they don't want to give you because you march and protest? That's just no man will give you anything.
I know it never made sense to me because I even had those debates. I said, when we went in the white restaurant, I was like, but like I don't want to eat anyone's food that I gotta force you to make it for me to invite me. Like to me, that did not make sense.
Let me tell you what someone told me before that. I'm like, dude, do you really think you make sense? I think it was Diners or someone. Like one time it was like, he said, the whites they used to let Black immigrants come over here at all. It was Booker T. Washington that went to the White House and told the white people.
That's not true.
I'm like, hold on, listen, you're telling me that a Black man went to the White House and told them like, hey, I want you to start bringing the blacks from Africa over here, and they're like, oh yes sir, and they started doing it.
Well, there was still slavery here. Booker T ran, Booker T was born in slavery, right? So obviously the Black man status, you're not gonna be free here. Why would he fight for Africans to come here at that time who will not be free if they come here. That doesn't make any sense.
The bottom line is no one is fighting for nothing. Anything white people do, they do it for the interest of the country or the interest of for their interest, best interest.
But see, you and I know this.
So even today, like the time they're talking about, they only used to allow Europeans here. Yeah, of course, because European countries were like, they were not progressive countries back then, they were like third world countries back then. So the people back in Europe back then, of course, they had a reason they wanted to come here. The European countries are back then.
Mike, why would they be pissed if Europeans you allow other Europeans to come join them?
Exactly.
They are Europeans.
But now what I'm saying is, but when Europe became a progressive, advanced countries, and the people didn't have reason to come to America anymore, they stopped coming. And America continued to still have the demand for quality people to come here. They still need demand for immigrants to come here, right? So guess what? They have to go somewhere else. If the whites are not willing to come here anymore, so they have to go to Asia, go to India, go to Africa. So they are doing it because they need to do it. They need to produce more engineers to compete with the Chinese. A lot of Americans born 5, 6 generation, most of them, they're not willing to go to freaking study their ridiculous.
And for African countries to come here, it is the treaties and trades they sign with our countries.
Our countries. Do you? I'm glad you brought that up. Do you know that the Nigerian government right now, they're trying to put law in place?
I know.
To stop this, Nigerians migrating through, the U.S. embassy.
Way?
The U.S. No. Because they feel like they're losing, like, especially for example, Europe right now. Europe is a free healthcare country, right?
Right.
It's a socialist country, so healthcare system is free. So exactly. So they're very short of healthcare workers. Yeah. So now they're going to Nigeria to give all the healthcare workers over there visa to come to UK. So now we're losing a lot of our doctors, our nurses.
The government in Nigeria better pay them people.
Yeah. So
they want them to stay.
There's no way you can match the income of all those countries, man. It's not possible. So what the Nigerian government is trying to do is like say, okay, once you finish from school, before you get your license, you have to work for 5 years in Nigeria before they issue your license. Just to keep them, because a lot of them, the government put a lot of money into the universities in Nigeria.
Because in Nigeria, the government pay for your school.
Yeah, the budget for education is very high. So we're producing a lot of graduates, and then especially medical, and then they're going to.
Because they give scholarship to even some.
Some
Gambia.
Exactly.
Gambian students.
Yeah, so our university are producing a lot of graduates there. A lot of those graduates kind of leaving. So these countries are. So the Nigerian government, in fact, even from the 90s when Sani Abacha was the president, he wanted to. When the United States was actually aiming for the Nigerian population, because they realized that these people here can be very industrious and be very productive people. So we need to go there and tap their population to come to America, so we can produce a lot of engineers. Because America is all about how productive are you? These countries don't really care about race like people think. They were productive. So back then in the 90s, the president of Nigeria back then trying to stop it. Like, no, we can't have. We don't want to suffer brain drain. The American government went after the guy. They went after him. So me knowing stuff like this, knowing that the reason the United States is issuing visa to Nigerians to come here, like they're really tapping into the Nigerian population to come to America, is because they need their industrial nature, the industrial spirit, their productivity. But there are some AADOS, what do you call it? What's their nickname? Foundational
Beggars Association.
Beggars Association is not coming to me to tell me like, hey, you're gonna bow down to me. I'm the one that told the white man to bring you here. Like, I'm dumb. Like, I don't know why the white man really want me here.
Mike, big Chico is coming for you. I guess he's one of the foundation. He said top 10 universities in Africa. Nigeria has none on that list. Big Chico, why are you hating? Really? But anyways, Mike, it's too. I gotta go.
Okay.
Here we go. Now, Turner said, he said 8,000 fake diploma black immigrant nurses just got fired in the USA and they are fake license. Oh, not Turner, bring the proof to this. Okay,
I know, right? But hurts.
Not Turner, are these all Nigerians?
You know,
Mike, he's coming for you, man.
yeah, I mean, when you tell them the truth hurts, man. The truth hurts, you know. When people, you know, the thing is, these guys want to feel. They want the blacks to come and be buying down to them. Like they want Africans and the Caribbeans to just be buying down to them, like bow down to them and be. No, that's not the way the world works, my friend. Or some of them will tell you know, no one's gonna bow down to you, dude. Unless if you have a company, you want to employ me, yeah, I can bow down to you, give me a job, you know. But you can't be no, you know, this arrogant behavior. I don't know. Like it's like a lot of these guys been programmed to see themselves as just this. You have to agree with
Thank you very much, Mike. Guys, FBA, that's Mike for you. You know, he's telling you have no shame in his cooning. You know, thank you for.
Well, anyway, let me say this. My advice is that they need to start following all these guys that are leading them astray. People like Tariq Nasheed, these guys are leading them astray. They just want their money, their donations, and stuff. Live your life. If you want respect, go earn it. Be a decent, be nice to people. People will respect you. Behave nice towards people. Respect people. People will respect you. Don't be arrogant. Don't see someone because the person is from Caribbean, Africa, and automatically assume that she's gonna bow down to you or be kissing your feet. And I mean, that's not the way the world works, man.
Thank you very much, Mike. All right, have a good one.
Yeah.
All right, guys, that was Mike, your resident Yoruba correspondent. He came in to give his 2 cents. But ladies and gentlemen, you've seen it. Please don't hesitate to leave your comment. You know, who is the Foundational Beggars Association going to blame now? I have seen them try to, you know, low-key throw shots at talking about the tethers and stuff. But I went and read the document. If they had passed it, you know, it don't matter if you're tether, as long as 12 years, for 12 years, you've been calling yourself black, you can get the reparation too. So that's how you know, they're not going to give no reparation, but that's no here or there. You know, look, wake up before it's too late. All right. Hopefully, you can get this reparation as Indian. Guys, I want to thank all of you for joining me again. I've been absent, been busy, but in a good way. Zongo, you wanted to know how I spent it? Pretty good. Everything is good and well down here. And yeah, as you guys heard, blacks, the Africans are open, the Caribbeans are open to you coming back, but they said they gotta look at you sideways, side eyes, because you were willing to sell us for checks. You see what I'm saying? So the brothers and sisters, they said they no longer trust you. So I don't know what you gotta do to come back, but just feel free to leave the comment below. And I want to thank all of you for watching. Please make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. And I want to thank all of you that contributed to the AADOS report, the super chatters. I'm out.
Baby girl love my bop and I like me too. No roof on my top and my babe see-through. Hating on the pen, don't stop, shit ain't gon' feed you. I've been all on my grind, so why I need you? Baby girl love my bop and I like me too. No roof on my top and my babe see-through. Hating on the pen, don't stop, shit ain't gon' feed you. I've been all on my grind, so why I need you? Big flex, my swole up, double cup and I'm pulled up. Niggas hating like hold up, what's the problem? I'm